The Small Tigers of Shergarh by Ranjit Lal. Literature reflects the various dimensions of emerging concepts and theories through ages. Of its multifarious components, ecological concern deserves much attention as it is the dire need of the hour. The basic ethical tenets of almost all cultures center upon universal love transcending human boundary. This moral claim, including preservation of nature, is now at stake owing to the deleterious steps of human beings towards exploiting nature, seeking an illusory comfort zone. The contemporary writers of India focus on the ecological issues and try to sensitize the people through their powerful writing that throbs with the social responsibility of seeking solutions to ecological problems. Ranjit Lal is one such prominent Indian writer and journalist who has contributed over 1,000 articles, short stories, features, and photo features that have been published in over 50 newspapers and magazines. He was born in Kolkata in 1955. He was educated in Mumbai, graduating in economics and sociology. He has special interest in natural history, photography, and bird watching. He is famous for his fiction and non-fiction, such as The Caterpillar Who Went on Diet and Other Stories, The Battle for Number 19, The Red Jaguar, The Small Tigers of Shergarh, and Faces in the Water. His concern for ecological resources pervades his writing. He lives in a humble residence next to the Nicholson Cemetery in New Delhi.
The first children's book that I wrote was in 2001. It came out, and I've been writing mainly children's book and young adult literature since, on a various subjects, right from natural history, birds, animals, insects, to social issues like female infanticide, dementia in the family, and of course love stories that happen between teenagers. So these are the areas that I sort of generally cover. Start reading, because then you open up a whole completely new world, which will be a much richer world than switching on the TV and just watching blankly what's there. It'll be a much richer and more meaningful world, because you're using your brain. When you're reading something, you have to use your imagination to picture the scene. I often ask kids, how many of you have seen Harry Potter films? So all hands go up. And I said, how many of you have read the book? Hands go up. How many of you read the book before you saw the film? Some hands go up. How did the characters in the books that you read, how were they different to the ones that you saw on the film? Was Dumbledore looking different in your mind? Yes, sir. Why? Because you used your imagination. Those guys who had seen the film first and then read the books automatically took what they saw in the film, Dumbledore, as Dumbledore while they were reading. So they didn't have to use their imagination at all. And I think that robbed them of a lot of the experience of reading the book.
The Small Tigers of Shergarh portrays the aesthetic experience and the emotional attachment of the protagonist Shika to the tigers of Shergarh. Her ethical responsibility of protecting those tigers evolves in due course. A terrible car accident offends 14-year-old Shika and her 5-year-old brother Sunny. The children could not come out of the trauma. Shika's sleepless nights are haunted by the shrieking sounds, while Sunny's world shrinks by being always glued to his sister, speechless. They are thrust into the hands of their uncle, Binay Chacha, who lives in the Shergarh house situated near the Shergarh Tiger Reserve. The two children find it difficult to come in tune with the new surrounding. Though Binoy Chacha's eccentric behavior disappoints Shika, the affection of Mr. Aslam Bai's and Mr. Rana's families comforts her. Mr. Aslam Bai is a retired forest guard and Mr. Rana is the field director of the Tiger Reserve. While Deepthi and Aslam Bai are instrumental in bringing out the adventurous spirit of Shika, Sharifa and Ali bring back happiness in her life. Deepthi is Mr. Rana's daughter. She is a wildlife photographer. Sharifa is Aslam Boy's wife and Ali is their grandson known for his pranks. The Shergarh forest is a real blessing to the children in all possible ways. Their daily trip to the forest brings radical change in their mindset and lifestyle. Shika's inward journey starts from her aesthetic response as elaborated by Immanuel Kant, Holmes Rollston III, and John Andrew Fisher, and results in environmental ethical response as stated by Stuart Hampshire. Shika feels peaceful and relaxed as an aesthetic appreciation dawns upon her when she travels inside the tiger reserve. Captivated and awestruck by the majestic beauty of the ruler of Shergarh forest, Sher, who parades just 10 meters away from her, Shika feels at the core of the heart that the tiger wished her good morning, though petrified a little. This experience stands in line with Kant's aesthetic judgment. If something is beautiful, first it has to be based on a feeling of pleasure resulting from a particular experience of the object, and second, it cannot result from a previous desire for the object. While Shika experiences this in the beginning, her brother Sunny realizes it towards the end of the novel, when the newborn tiger cubs play with him in the cave by pulling his shorts. The boy, who has been dumb from the day of the car accident, speaks excitedly thus.
Down, boy, down! Look what I found, Dimple Chick! Come here and look what I found!
The aesthetic experience heals the boy. The therapeutic effect that the animal provided is witnessed in the boy, while what the forest offered is validated by Shika. Shika gazes at the forest, a sense of peace seeping into her like sap in a tree bark. This world is so different from the one she has known. For a brief instant, it even makes her forget what has happened to Mama, Papa, and Sunny. Her journey into the wilderness has already stopped the clanging and shrieking of the car roof on the road. Disappointed by the curt replies and the cold behavior of her uncle Binoy, Shika thinks that Shersha is well-mannered when compared to her uncle. Similarly, when their refuge home threatens to separate Shika and Sunny, they seek shelter in the tiger reserve. The aesthetic experience, as sensed by the protagonist, drifts slowly from Kant to Rollston's aestheticism. Rollston emphasizes on two important tenets. One is that aesthetic experience of nature must be participatory, and that the other is that it should be faithful to the objective reality of what nature is. The physical and biological sciences tell us what nature really is and how it got that way. Science greatly educates us to what is really taking place. Deepti, the daughter of the field director, is quite interested to learn the lifestyle of the tigers and is a good wildlife photographer. She keeps a journal which chronicles all details about the tiger reserve, particularly tigers, with photographs. When she leaves for Delhi, she hands over the responsibility to Shika and educates her about the tigers in Shergarh, their nature, and even how to distinguish them by the marks on their faces. This deep study and reality enlightened Shika that even the tiger's blood-stained mouth does not seem unattractive to her. She comments after seeing a tiger hunt that the tiger looks as though she has gone berserk with lipstick. Shersha, the majestic king of Shergarh forest, Sheba, the fiercest tigress, Begum, Sheba's sister, Shaitan, the charger, and other animals of the forest keep Shika's spirit of exploration alive. She visits the Shergarh fort, Chota Mahal, the most beautiful pool Haripani, and Hira Tilao during her journey inside the forest. The historical background of the place and the story about the prince and his pet tiger Badshah mesmerize her. The aesthetic experience is ultimately therapeutic too. The aesthetic response ultimately evolves as ethical responsibility. From the beginning, Shika seems to be annoyed by the instrumental value attached to the tigers by the human beings. The exploitation of the natural resources worries her, and she poses queries like, why then did people have to get after this poor animal? How could anyone point a gun at such a beautiful creature? If you left it alone, it left you alone. And how could people feel brave or great by stuffing its body or using its skin as a rug? The trio, Shika, Sunny and Ali, are able to defeat the plot of Veena and Randhir, who are determined to hunt the tigers in the reserve. Veena goes to the extent of poisoning the minds of village people to occupy the forest territory by driving away the tigers. All their wily plans turn futile because of the adventurous deeds of the trio. Shika not only saves herself and her brother from the tricky plans of Veena, but also unmasks the cruel tiger killer beneath. Shika's commitment to safeguard the tigers from the plotters is because of her attachment to them. She wants to save them because of the emotional interest upon them, and this experience stands in line with Hampshire's statement on the preservation of species. He says that it is to be aimed at and commended only insofar as human beings are or will be emotionally and sentimentally interested. The most important factor that transformed Shika from a meek girl to a strong one is her journey into the Shergarh forest. In the beginning of the journey, she appears as a frightened little girl who is afraid to even step into the jeep as its top is removed. On seeing the emergency packages and on hearing the wild noises made by Ali, her heart trembles. Sunny's adamancy in not letting her go anyway, Binoy's careless attitude, reminiscences of her earlier days, and Veena's troublesome interruption disturb her. When days roll on, the inconvenience of the trip diminishes, and it paves the way for a new kind of bliss. The fresh forest air, nature's abundant display, glimpse of varied flora and fauna, her love for tigers, along with her commitment to update the journal given by Deepthi, make Shika mentally and physically strong. Sunny also becomes independent and active, and Shika could see her brother as he had been before the car accident. Shergarh forest and the tigers have emboldened her to face the challenges of the villainous group. Her daring steps towards protecting the tigers, along with Ali and Sunny, label her as an eco-warrior. As John Fisher says, just as influenced environments can be awkward for aesthetic preservationists, so can mixed environments. By mixed environments, he means nature disturbed by human intrusion. Shika fights against such intrusion. Shika and Sunny are addressed as the small tigers of Shergarh, not only for their communion with the Shergarh forest, but also for their decisive role that protects the resource of the Shergarh forest, the tigers. Ranjit Lal has made the children protagonists of his story to show how the future generation should shoulder the responsibility of protecting, rather unharming, the natural resources. A subtle satire upon the irresponsibility and carelessness of the contemporary society runs as an undercurrent throughout the storyline. As Ralston says, even the so-called worthless species deserve attention and preservation just because of the fact that they exist. He further adds, is there any reason or duty to save them? A primary environmental ethics answer is that species are good in their own right, whether or not they are any good for human beings.